So we've got nothing to talk about, right? What am I supposed to do? I mean, all we have is MLB. Yeah, well, MLB has got this. Hell yes, it does. There were so many things that MLB had yesterday that for a brief moment it felt like it was America's pastime all over again. It had it all. I mean, you want something terrible? You want something embarrassing? Why don't we start in Chicago for the first pitch before yesterday's Royals-White Sox game? Now, first pitches are a weird thing. I've actually done it. I can speak from experience. They're tougher than they look. They're deceivingly difficult, even for actual athletes. The problem is they're generally handled by non-athletes who throw on a jersey, march onto a major league field, and then try to throw a rock to a small target. It's not that easy. In fact, it's pretty hard. And there are like 15 of these things every single day, which means that every single day, multiple people are missing the plate and bouncing it off the grass. And it's gotten to the point where the horrible first pitch genre is very played and very tired. Hey, why don't we clown this singer or this municipal employee, like Dasmati, for doing something that most people cannot do? Like if I wanted to do a take on a terrible first pitch every single day, I could do that. And then I could just run down all the terrible first pitches that came before it. Again, really lazy. Hell, the compilation is so easy. I could have Alvin play a tape of me talking about 50 Cent, Mariah Carey, the mayor of Cincinnati, and so on and so on. But since the horror of a first pitch is visual and the majority of the audience is on radio, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? You need to do something pretty terrible to get run on this particular show for a bad pitch. So yesterday, the White Sox honor their employee of the month by having her throw out the first pitch. And they want to make sure that they capture the moment, so they sent a photog out there as well. The photographer is standing on the grass to the left of the so-called pitcher. Probably thought that he was safe. Spoiler alert, he was not safe.
Pitching staff leads the league in walks, and that's carried over to the ceremonial first pitch. Decide whether that's the worst first pitch in baseball history or the best first pitch in baseball history.
You got to see it to believe it. I mean, well, if you're watching on CBS Sports Network, you saw it. If you've already seen it, you know. There's missing the plate. There's bouncing it off the grass, and then there's bouncing it off the photographer who's about 10 feet off to the side. Drill this cat right in the lens. I mean, it is awesome. Truly special. Now, of course, you know that every sports radio show and morning zoo show around the country is going to have a bunch of out-of-shape dopes mocking her, insisting they could do better, and I doubt it. She doesn't need to be clowned. You think you could do better? Do you think that Doug from accounting or Amy from sales is really going to be up there painting the black in the low 90s with crazy movement? For all we know, her job is to evaluate talent, not be the talent. So unless this woman is the employee of the month from the pitching department, man, get off her back. Give her a break. Now, that said, dotting the photog is incredible. I haven't seen something that jaw-dropping on the field in a Royals-White Sox game since the shirtless father and his son ran onto the field and attacked the Royals' first base coach. At least this White Sox employee was invited to the proceedings. Now, if you want to make fun of somebody, take a run at Blue Jays right fielder Randall Grichuk. Grichuk did the outfield equivalent of a horrible first pitch in the third inning last night. Now, when you talk about inside the park home runs, what do you think of? Most people immediately think of that exciting play where some speed burner drives a gap, that gets on his horse, sprints around the bases, and then beats a bang-bang play at the plate. Always exciting. Or it's like this. Tampa's Avisail Garcia lofts a soft pop-up to right field, and The right fielder has himself a nightmare.
Garcia lifts it into right. A lot of hang time, and Dietrich loses that one. That's going to bound to the wall. I don't know if it hit anything up there or not, but Garcia's already rounding third. He's headed to the plate. He is safe. He rounds the bases.
Honestly,
inside the park home run, and Dietrich still trying to figure out what happened out there.
Yeah, all of us. We all are. That's a better visual than that first pitch where that lady dotted the photog from 10 feet. Like, I don't know if that guy lost the ball in the lights. I don't know if he lost the ball in the ceiling. I don't know if he never saw it. I don't know if this guy's got the worst vision ever. But Dietrich missed that ball by about 30 feet. Dietrich is staggering around in right field, staring at the ceiling, looking for something, and the ball lands like 10 yards behind him and bounces all the way to the wall. Oh, but credit to Dietrich. When he realizes where the ball is, he doesn't sprint after it. This guy's jogging after the ball. Almost walking after the ball, giving Garcia time to not only circle the bases, but slide into home plate without there even being a play at home plate. Let's be honest, Garcia is not exactly Vince Coleman. Garcia's more like Steve Alboni. My guy is slower than dirt. Even with that misplay, that should have only been a triple. But because Dietrich lost the ball in the ceiling or the lights or never saw it to begin with and practically walked to it, Garcia ends up with quite possibly the worst inside the park home run ever. But as good/horrible as those moments were, last night in baseball, hell, last night in all of sports belonged to one Derek Richard Dietrich. And to the jungle karma. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The karma is one of the most powerful forces on earth. It is not something I control. It's not even something I understand. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than all of us. But you know the drill. If somebody comes on the show and does a good interview, good things generally happen to them. And Derek Dietrich came on the show yesterday and did a great interview. Not only did he do a great interview, he stayed on the phone afterwards and called his shot about the topics that he wanted to discuss the next time he's on. So there's being a good interview. Then there's going next level and producing your next interview before you even hang up the phone from your first interview. In other words, I could not have been more impressed with this guy than I was. Then the game against Pittsburgh. Dietrich has been mashing Pittsburgh pitching all season long. So he had to be feeling pretty good when he stepped into the batter's box in the first inning, especially after his jungle interview. But he grounded out in the first inning. Then he came up in the bottom of the fourth with a runner on second. And then this happened.
Dietrich drives one deep to right. This one's way back there, and it's gone. A two-run shot for Derek Dietrich. It's 3-0 Reds.
Butter. Reds radio, such a sweet swing. Man, this cat is so good. So good. The karma lives. Do a good interview. Hit a home run a few hours later. The karma is real. But then he comes up in the bottom of the fifth with a runner on, and this happened.
He swings and sends a drive back into right field. He's got another one. Back-to-back at-bats, back-to-back home runs for Derek Dietrich, who runs his season's total now to 16, and the Reds' lead goes to 6-0.
Are you kidding me about this guy? What an amazing performance. Masterpiece of an interview, and now a 2-home run, 4 RBI game. Dietrich, if you need him. Except he wasn't done. He comes to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Stop me if you have heard this before. Runner on, and I will warn you, this is not a replay.
The conference on the mound is over. Now the pitch to Dietrich, and he swings and barrels another one to right, and this one's gone. 3 for Derek Dietrich, and all 3 are 2-run home runs.
3 home runs. The jungle karma has never been stronger. Go ahead and watch Kevon Looney get off with a triple-double in Game 1. Best part about those home runs, none of them were cheap. There was not a cheap one among them. And you could time his trots with a sundial. I know the Pirates and their fans hated that. But if you love baseball, you should love that. Those 3 bombs last night gave him 17 on the year, a new career high, and we're not even to May yet, or through May. This is a guy who was DFA'd by the Marlins, and now he's putting up Barry Bonds numbers this year. I mean, seriously, he's averaging a home run every 6.9 at-bats. In his prime, Bonds was 6.52. An incredible performance by Dietrich on the phone, then at the plate. War, and I don't war things myself. I usually let you all do that. War Dietrich. War the Reds. War the legendary Rob Butcher. And most of all, war the Jungle Karma. Man, it never fails. Oh, and how about Jeets? How about Jeets? War Jeets. Hey, Jeets, I know you're a zero patience guy, and you want to be competitive this season, or so you say. Maybe you should have shown a touch more patience with my guy Dietrich. You let him go, and now he's got more home runs than all of your second basemen and left fielders combined, both positions he can play. How's that gift basket taste, Captain? Freaking Jeets and his NL worst Miami Marlins if you need him. God, how much damage has that guy done to his rep? This guy was freaking Joe DiMaggio when he retired. Except better. I mean, what a reputation. This guy was practically Lou Gehrig when he retired. This guy was Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Ruth, Whitey Ford, all rolled into one. And now he's the guy who wrecked the Marlins, who's got a couple of stand-up soap dispensers and a couple of iPads. You probably don't need Dietrich, huh, Jeets?